Looney Farm Guy here, and this is the FS22 and the Landini 6550 on Farming Simulator 22. It's for all platforms, PC, Mac, and console. I'm on Georgia Farms map for this test of these four little tractors. This is by blauea. 27.17 megabytes to download, 13 slots each on console. Let's find them under vehicles and small tractors. And there they all are. Starting with the 274S, the two-wheel drive, and the 274S four-wheel drive. Farm Dog Max wants to see what all the excitement is about. Then we move on over to the Landini, the 6550, two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. So the prices, as you can see here, 17,500, 22,500, 18,750, and 23,750. Now, the only difference really between these two is the horsepower. 60 to 75 horsepower for the Massey Fergusons, and for the Landini, it's 65 to 80. So an extra 5 horsepower, and everything else is pretty much identical, even when it comes down to the options. So let's take a look at the options. Right, so front weight configurations. Front weight, no or yes. That adds about 400 kilograms, it looks like. Engine setup. We have the 60 horsepower, the 66 horsepower, or the 75 horsepower. So those three, $4,000 for that. Wheel brands. Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, BKT, Vredestein, and back to Trelleborg. Now, wheel setup, we got in Trelleborg, we have a nice set of options. Narrows, so standard, wide, rear narrow twin, which is one of my favorite tire combinations. Rear twin, narrows, and then back to standard. Michelin, we have this very similar, except no narrow twin, so just a narrow set plus that there. Continental, pretty much the same there with a narrow, so they all kind of have the same thing, except this one has a nice BKT. The front tire is a little different, which is kind of nice. And they all have a narrow option, so yeah. And then Vredestein, yeah, so they're all the same, except the Trelleborg is the only one with that rear narrow option. Let's see here. 2750 if you go with the wides. I think that's pretty much the same. Yeah, for all of them. Interior setup, design 1 or design 2. So you have the red interior or a black interior. 250 for the red, or sorry, the black. So I'd keep it red if I were you. Rear fenders, we have this style or this style. And then beacon, no, left, right, or both. Front loader, yes, it does have a front loader attachment. Quick Ear Hauer. It is precision farming compatible or ready, shall we say, and it's a Seria Pro Compact. Yes or no, it will put them on the mirrors. It'll cost you $14,950. You must have the precision farming DLC loaded on the map for this to appear. If you don't have that, this option won't be there. So if you're looking for it, you have to download the precision farming DLC. It is free on ModHub. Main color, we have standard, we have light gray, which is your basically frame, engine, etc. color, and dark gray like that, and a license plate. So moving over to this one, basically the same options here. 60, 66, 75 horsepower. Wheel brands are all the same, except the front tire, being a four-wheel drive, is a little larger, and we'll have a twin option for all of them. Like you see there, and narrows. And Trelleborg has the mini narrow rear or a wide and a wide all around. So that's a little bit different than the two-wheel drive version. Interior, again, black or red. Front fender. This one has a front fender option, yes or no. Rear fender, yes or no. Beacons. Loader. Xperia Pro, ready. Main color, same thing there, and a license plate. Moving on to the Landini. The Landini is identical in every way except it's blue. And the engine options are 65, 70, and 80. Wheel brands are the same. Wheel setup, interior design, rear fenders, beacons, front loader, Xperia. Main color, you have 3 choices here. And design color, we get gray or blue, and that's actually the around the grille. And that's basically the only difference. Same thing here. All the same options here, except it's 4-wheel drive instead of 2-wheel drive. Okay, enough of that. How does it perform? Well, let's get into the Massey Ferguson. Get our help window on here. There we go. And back it up a little bit. And we'll go through a couple of things in the tractor itself. We have the beacons. We have lights. Signals. Yes, there's a signal on the rear fender actually. No reverse lights. Interior. Nice. That's the reason I say the red interior is because you can actually see things a little bit better. Manual transmission, of course, as you've seen there. L1, R1 horn. Not too bad, actually. L1 and R1 is the left stick can open the driver's door, and the right stick up and down opens that rear window. Now, it's a little bit tough to find implements that match up with this close enough to really do a good test. So I did have to download a modded cultivator for this test. And I do believe this cultivator is a little bit tough to pull. It is rated at 70 horsepower. And if we hire a worker, it struggles a little bit with it. So I'm not going to fault the tractor, but it is pretty much horsepower. The rating of 75 horsepower is pretty much, that's a good metric or measurement to judge it by. And it does, if you are pulling something a little tough, it does kind of want to search gears a little bit. But I'm not going to necessarily say this is, yeah, it struggles quite a bit, and I think this implement is quite a bit harder to pull than some others. Now, I know one of my viewers, Mr. Gustav, wants to see it turn around at the end of the field, so I will be dutiful in my duties and show that. They all performed very nicely in the field, so no issues that I found. And aside from your usual, I think the AI is working a little funny after the update, so I'm trying not to be too critical of workers with the machines necessarily, and in this case they seem to be working fine. As for the power, pulling power, it's not overpowered. It's about right, I think. So I'm going to drop this, and we're going to move on to the 4-wheel drive. I do like, it looks very nice though. It's very nice. It runs, it is a vintage, obviously a vintage style tractor, but it has a front loader and yeah, it's precision farming ready if that's what you like to play with. And here we go. Here is the four-wheel drive version, which is basically the two-wheel drive version except four-wheel drive. So everything is really identical in this one as the other one. Does it pull any better with the four-wheel drive? Possibly. I didn't notice a huge difference in the pulling capabilities. Perhaps a little bit, because it seems to do a little bit better pulling this implement. So yes, I would say, according to this right now, yes, it does pull a little bit better with the four-wheel drive. Turnaround is the same. I'm not going to show each one of these turning around because they all performed identical. So the identical to the first one I showed turning around, and there you have it. So the Landini is pretty much identical to these, except, well, it is rated at 5 horsepower more than the Massey Ferguson. Now, again, I didn't notice a huge difference between them. Well, 5 horsepower in the game. 5 horsepower doesn't usually mean a big difference. Now, in real life, I'm sure 5 horsepower does make a lot of difference. As a matter of fact, I have an issue with rating farm equipment or diesel engines in a horsepower rating, because it's the torque actually that's what does the work, and horsepower is a little bit of a not as important as torque, but I could be wrong. That's just my understanding of it. And here we are. We're doing a little better with this than we did with the other two-wheel drive. So yes, it does pull a little bit better. Now, for just for comparison, I do have a base game cultivator rated at 90 horsepower just over there, and we're actually going to take the four-wheel drive Landini and show you how that performs with that one. Excuse me, because it is over its horsepower rating, but it is a base game implement, which is pretty much to giant standards, if you could say, and it actually performs quite well, pulling something that's actually more than it's supposed to pull. So that's why that's what leads me to think that the other cultivators I was testing with were hard to pull, because this is actually performing quite well with that. So I'm going to say they actually do, well, again, quite well. So I think, well, while we're here, and if you're still watching, we're going to watch this one turn around, just because I didn't show the four-wheel drive one turn around. But to be honest, it's there's nothing unusual here, nothing to see here, folks. Unless you want to watch. But of course, very normal. Actually, nothing, like I say, nothing unusual. And it does look good. I like the smoke, the diesel exhaust. Of course, you can't see it from this side. I don't know why you have to look at it from this side to really see it, or from a different angle than the angle at which you would usually operate this vehicle. But anyways, that's just a small little pet peeve of mine among many things. However, overall, it's a very nice little pack of tractors, and that's the MF 274S and the Landini 6550 by blauea on Farming Simulator 22. Thank you all for watching, and remember, it's only a game, so till the next one, bye for now.